It never happens in one explosive moment. It happens slowly, in hundreds of quiet choices. You brushed off the missed calls, the tired excuses, the quick goodnights. Before she cheats, a woman doesn't turn cruel. She turns neutral. That's when you should start to worry. Because indifference, not anger, is the true death of connection.
In this breakdown, I'm going to reveal the 10 subtle signs that show when she's already gone emotionally, and the mindset shift that keeps you from losing another woman the same way again. You didn't lose her the night she walked out. You lost her the moment she stopped reaching for you. That's the part no one talks about. The slow fade, the quiet withdrawal, the way her tone softens, not out of tenderness, but distance. Every man remembers the day it ended, but the ending started weeks before. If you're done pretending not to notice, hit like, subscribe to Roots of Her, and comment below, I choose awareness over denial. Because once you truly see what emotional disconnection looks like, you stop asking why she left and start realizing when she did.
Number 1, the energy shift. Before a woman cheats, the first thing that changes isn't her phone, her schedule, or her body. It's her energy. You feel it before you can define it. Her laughter sounds practiced. Her replies shrink. The warmth that once melted tension now feels calculated. Something invisible has shifted, and you can sense it in the silence between her words. This isn't random. Women don't emotionally vanish overnight. They recalibrate. They match the tone, rhythm, and energy of the man they're with. When admiration fades, connection begins to corrode, and she starts becoming a version of herself that no longer revolves around you. At this point, she isn't plotting betrayal. She's rehearsing detachment. Most men miss this because they measure love logically. They think, she's still here, so we're fine. But emotional presence isn't the same as physical presence. A woman can sit beside you while already walking away in her mind. Don't chase her silence or beg for attention. That only proves her story that you've lost your center. Instead, stay grounded. Watch. Reclaim your own gravity. The moment you feel her energy drift, stop mirroring her distance. Stay steady in your strength. When you do, the script changes. You stop being the man she's pulling away from and become the one she suddenly can't ignore. Number 2, the digital wall. Her phone used to be just another object lying around. Now, it's sacred territory. She tilts the screen away when you walk by, types faster, laughs quietly at something but won't tell you what. You catch flashes of notifications, half smiles, little secrets. And every time you ask, she says, "It's nothing." But it's not nothing. When a woman starts emotionally disconnecting, she builds walls in the very places where connection used to live. The easiest wall to build today is digital. That small device becomes her private world, a place where she exists beyond your gaze, beyond your expectations, beyond your presence. If she's feeling guilt or emptiness, secrecy gives her the illusion of control. Most men confuse privacy with trust, but secrecy isn't trust. It's distance disguised as independence. The more she guards her phone, the less she's sharing herself. What she's protecting isn't her messages. It's the emotional story she's rewriting without you in it. Don't respond with accusations. Don't grab her phone or demand answers. That only fuels the story that you're insecure instead of intuitive. Instead, lean back. Observe. A confident man doesn't chase what's hiding. He listens until the silence speaks. And when she realizes your calm doesn't crumble under mystery, the power shifts. The wall she built to keep you out starts reminding her of what she's missing inside. Number 3. Busy becomes her shield. Suddenly, she's always busy. Long hours, late meetings, new hobbies, me time. She's too tired to talk, too drained to meet, too occupied to connect. The same woman who once flooded your phone with messages now treats every interaction like an obligation. This isn't about her workload. It's about emotional bandwidth. When a woman starts detaching, she fills the space between you with noise. Work, friends, routines, self-care, anything that helps her avoid the silence where truth lives. Busyness becomes her disguise. It lets her pretend she's not pulling away. It helps her rationalize why she no longer has time for you. Most men respond by chasing harder. More texts, more plans, more attempts to win back her time. But that desperation only validates her withdrawal. The harder you chase, the faster she runs. Emotional distance is always a rehearsal for separation. She's testing how life feels without you in it. And every time you accept her too busy without facing what's underneath, you quietly agree to your own replacement. Don't beg for space in her schedule. Fill your own. Reclaim your time, your focus, your purpose. When she sees you moving with direction instead of confusion, she realizes the distance she built doesn't make her free. It makes her forgettable. Number 4. The glow-up that isn't for you. She starts to change again. Her clothes, her hair, her skincare routine. She's going to the gym, posting mirror selfies, wearing perfume even when she's not seeing you. At first, you're proud. She looks radiant, confident, alive. But deep down, something feels off. Because even though she's shining brighter, her light isn't reaching you anymore. When a woman reinvents her image, it's rarely random. Physical transformation follows emotional disconnection. It's her way of preparing for a new version of herself, the version that no longer orbits your relationship. That's why her glow feels different this time. It's not a shared renewal. It's a silent farewell. Most men mistake this for simple self-care. But true self-care invites the person you love in. It doesn't shut them out. When she starts guarding her reflection and hiding her transformation, it's not about beauty. It's about freedom. Don't criticize or question it. Just watch. Compliment her, yes, but pay attention to who her attention feeds. If her evolution no longer includes you, she's already rewriting her emotional audience. Every woman glows before she goes. The glow-up isn't betrayal, it's transition. The question is whether you'll notice the exit sign before it fades. Number 5. The comparison trap. She starts dropping names. A coworker who's so driven, a friend's husband who's thoughtful, a random guy who just gets it. It sounds harmless, but it lands like a splinter. When a woman begins comparing you to other men, it's not really about them. It's about what she's starving for. Admiration, excitement, direction. She's searching for traits you once showed but stopped expressing. Most men react defensively. They argue, compete, or shut down. But the moment you start debating her comparisons, you've already stepped into her frame. You're reacting instead of leading. What she's testing isn't the other men. It's your presence. She wants to feel the magnetism she felt when you were focused, driven, unpredictable. The man she once had to chase to keep up with, not the one who settled into comfort. Don't fight ghosts. Evolve. Become so locked into your purpose that comparison loses meaning. Attraction thrives where admiration lives, and admiration always returns to the man who keeps growing. Number 6. The roommate phase. You still live together, still share meals, still talk, but it feels hollow. Conversations are practical. Bills, plans, chores. You coexist instead of connect. There's no teasing, no spark, no tension. Just routine wrapped in silence. When she looks at you, it's not with love, but with quiet acceptance that something's ended. This is the most dangerous stage because it feels peaceful. Many men mistake it for stability, thinking calm means everything's fine. But peace without passion is an emotional flatline. When polarity dies, attraction fades, and she starts craving energy elsewhere. The thrill of being seen, desired, wanted again. Women don't leave when things are bad. They leave when things go numb. That's why this phase is so deceptive. It doesn't feel like a fight. It feels like fading. You stop reaching for her, and she stops reaching back. Both of you become ghosts sharing the same space. Don't try to fix it with flowers or surface gestures. Chemistry isn't resurrected through convenience. What reignites connection is energy, playfulness, tension, mystery. The version of you that teased her, challenged her, made her feel alive. Bring that man back. The one who once kept her guessing. The one whose presence stirred something electric in the air. If you stay predictable, she'll keep lying beside you while dreaming of someone who isn't. And one day, that dream might start answering her back. She stops feeling desired. In the beginning, she dressed for you, hoping your eyes would linger. Now she doesn't bother. Not because she stopped caring, but because she stopped feeling seen. Her touch turns mechanical. Her voice loses its playfulness, and the spark that used to light up her gaze fades into routine. She no longer reaches for your approval because, somewhere along the way, she stopped believing she could earn it. Female desire doesn't die. It decays when neglected. A woman's confidence blooms when she feels desired by the man she admires. But when that attention disappears, resentment quietly takes its place. She doesn't crave compliments. She craves confirmation that she still matters to you. When that validation fades, her imagination starts filling the gaps, picturing what it would feel like to be wanted again, to be seen again, to be chosen again. Most men confuse loyalty with attraction. They think commitment automatically maintains desire. It doesn't. Love requires maintenance. Attraction requires movement. When you stop nurturing one, the other starves. If she stopped feeling desired, it's not about sex. It's about significance. She wants to feel like she still inspires you, like she still has the power to draw your eyes across a room. The version of her that feels wanted is bold, magnetic, alive. The version that feels invisible slowly shuts down. Don't wait until she's halfway out the door to notice her. Tell her she's beautiful when she least expects it. Look at her like you did the first time, like you couldn't believe she was real. Because the moment a woman senses she's no longer the reason you look twice, she'll start wondering who will. Then comes the constant conflict. Arguments start popping up over the smallest things. Your tone, the way you load the dishwasher, how long you take to reply. You find yourself stuck in daily debates that feel like traps. No matter how you respond, you lose. When a woman starts fighting over details that never used to matter, she's not seeking solutions. She's justifying her distance. By magnifying your flaws, she builds a case in her mind that lets her feel right about pulling away. If she can convince herself you're the problem, she can quiet the guilt of what's coming next. Most men take the bait. They argue, defend, fight to prove a point. But the moment you start reacting, you hand her control of the narrative. You become emotional, unbalanced, and that validates her withdrawal. Her anger isn't what should scare you. Her calm should. Because anger still means she cares enough to feel. But once her voice turns steady, detached, factual, that's when she's already gone. When conflict becomes constant, don't mirror her chaos. Stay composed. Stay still. When she can't drag you into emotional turbulence, the story she's built about you begins to lose its grip. In relationships, control doesn't belong to the loudest person in the room. It belongs to the calmest. Then comes the guilt kindness. Out of nowhere, she's gentle again. Her tone softens. Her hands linger. She texts you something sweet. Maybe she cooks your favorite dinner, or kisses you just because. For a moment, it feels like she's coming back. But what you're seeing isn't healing. It's guilt dressed as affection. When a woman crosses a moral line in her mind, whether emotional or physical, her subconscious scrambles to restore balance. Guilt doesn't always wear distance.
Sometimes it wears devotion. She'll overcompensate with warmth, trying to convince both of you that everything's fine. It's not deception, it's denial. Most men mistake this for reconnection, thinking, she finally missed me. But sudden sweetness after weeks of tension doesn't come from love. It comes from fear. Fear of being discovered. Fear of becoming someone she swore she wasn't. Watch the timing. Real affection grows gradually. Guilt arrives in bursts. If her affection feels misplaced, tender moments appearing right after arguments, right after unexplained silences, you're not witnessing romance. You're witnessing remorse wearing perfume. Don't confront her. Observe. Real love is consistent. Guilt is theatrical. Let the pattern reveal itself, because truth always does. Clarity doesn't just come from words. It comes from the way her kindness feels like an apology she's too afraid to voice. And then, the gut feeling. That quiet signal that hums inside you before your mind can explain why. Something feels off. Her voice sounds right, but her energy doesn't. Her eyes drift when you talk. Her, "I'm fine," lands too quickly, too polished. The silence between her sentences carries more weight than her words ever could. That feeling isn't paranoia, it's intuition. The body recognizing what the mind refuses to admit. Your instincts are ancient. They detect shifts in tone, energy, rhythm, long before logic catches up. But most men silence that instinct. They tell themselves they're overthinking. They rationalize away the discomfort. They gaslight themselves into blindness. Your gut isn't lying to you. It's protecting you. It's the final alarm before emotional impact. The difference between insecurity and intuition is reaction. Insecurity panics. Intuition watches. When something feels off, don't accuse, don't chase, don't collapse into desperation. Step back. Observe the alignment between her words and her actions. Anyone can fake affection, but no one can fake consistency. If your gut feels uneasy, trust it. Not to expose her, but to center yourself. Awareness is power. Desperation is weakness. The moment you stop trying to prove what you feel and simply stand in it, you become untouchable. Intuition doesn't beg for evidence, it becomes it. And this is where the shift begins. You can't control what she does, but you can control the atmosphere that makes betrayal unnecessary. That's what separates reaction from mastery. Most men try to police behavior. Strong men lead energy. When you live with awareness, presence, and purpose, you don't need to guard her loyalty. She guards it for you. Feed her emotionally. Stay physically magnetic. Lead with confidence, not control. Keep intimacy alive, not just through touch, but through playfulness and mystery. Stay anchored in your mission. Communicate before silence becomes distance. Because when she feels seen, safe, and stimulated, the idea of losing you feels unthinkable. A woman doesn't cheat out of nowhere. She detaches first, then disconnects, and finally replaces what's already gone. The act of betrayal is only the echo of a loss that happened long before. It begins the second her heart stops recognizing you as home. These signs aren't warnings to fear. They're patterns to understand. Most men wait for proof. The wise man reads energy. The strong man adjusts before the damage begins. Once a woman starts fading, logic can't bring her back, but leadership might. This isn't about catching her, it's about catching yourself. Every ounce of distance she creates mirrors a shift in the energy you project. When you stop leading with presence, she starts searching for polarity elsewhere. And if you can't hold your frame when she drifts, she learns you're replaceable. But when you understand the psychology behind her behavior, everything changes.
You stop chasing moods and start mastering your own. You stop begging for loyalty and start commanding respect. You stop fearing loss and start radiating the kind of strength no woman wants to lose. Because the truth is, you can't stop a woman from cheating, but you can become the man she would never dare to betray. That's real power. Quiet, certain, earned. But awareness means nothing if it doesn't change how you move. When a woman stops feeling desired, it's rarely about the physical. It's about significance, about wanting to be chosen again, not out of obligation, but from genuine want. You can sense the shift before she ever says a word. The light in her eyes dims, the effort fades, and suddenly the woman who once glowed in your presence starts shrinking into the background of her own life. She's not neglecting herself because she's lazy. She's losing herself because she doesn't feel seen.
At first, she dressed up to catch your attention. Now she dresses down because she no longer believes your attention is hers to catch. She laughs less, touches less, and the playful spark that used to color her voice begins to dull. Not because she's changed, but because she's adapting. A woman's confidence isn't born in mirrors. It's born in reflection, in how the man she loves looks at her. When that gaze turns indifferent, her power fades with it. She doesn't crave flattery. She craves evidence that she still matters in your eyes. And when that proof disappears, she begins to imagine what it would feel like to be wanted again, even if only in someone else's mind. Most men confuse loyalty with desire. They assume commitment will keep attraction alive, but love without attention eventually starves. Desire is momentum. It needs to be fed. When she stops feeling chosen, it isn't her body that drifts first. It's her spirit. And when that happens, no apology or bouquet can resurrect what neglect has quietly buried. Tell her she's beautiful when there's no reason to. Look at her the way you did when you first met. Not because you have to, but because you still want to. Because the second she realizes she's no longer the reason you look twice, she'll start wondering who will be. Then comes the conflict. It sneaks in through small things. The dishes, your tone, the toothpaste cap. Suddenly, everything feels like a test you can't pass. You start arguing about details that never mattered before, and no matter what you say, she's already decided you're wrong. She's not fighting for clarity anymore. She's fighting for justification. She's building a case in her head to explain why she's pulling away. Conflict becomes her armor, and every argument, another reason to detach. Most men make the same mistake. They fight back. But when you engage with chaos, you surrender control. You match her fire, and in doing so, you lose your ground. Remember this, anger isn't your enemy. Indifference is. Anger means she still cares enough to burn. But when her tone turns calm, cold, factual, that's when she's already left you emotionally. When every debate feels like déjà vu, stop matching her noise. Match her stillness. Respond with calm, not silence. With awareness, not defense. Because when she realizes she can't drag you into emotional turbulence, the storm inside her begins to lose power. In love, control doesn't belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the one that refuses to lose composure. And just when you think the tension has passed, she softens. Her voice turns sweet again, her gestures tender. She cooks your favorite meal, sends you kind messages out of nowhere, looks at you the way she used to. You start to breathe again, thinking the worst is over. But sometimes, what you're feeling isn't reconciliation. It's guilt wearing perfume. When a woman crosses a moral line in her heart, whether through thought, emotion, or touch, her guilt doesn't always surface as distance. Sometimes it disguises itself as devotion. She overcompensates with affection, hoping to convince both of you that everything's fine. But it's not love returning. It's her conscience trying to find balance. Don't rush to confront it. Just observe. Real love grows slow. Guilt comes in a rush. When her affection appears suddenly after silence or strain, without reason or rhythm, pay attention. Consistency is love's fingerprint. Drama is guilt's disguise. The more predictable her sudden sweetness becomes, the clearer the truth will reveal itself, not through her words, but through the weight behind them. Because sometimes, kindness doesn't feel like love. It feels like an apology. And when all the noise fades, you'll feel it. The gut shift. The quiet certainty that something's off, even if you can't explain why. The words sound right, but the energy doesn't. She says she's fine, but her eyes drift when you speak. The silence between her sentences feels heavier than the sentences themselves. That's not paranoia. That's intuition. The body picking up on what the mind refuses to face. You can lie to yourself about what's happening, but your instincts will always whisper the truth first.
Most men mistake intuition for insecurity. They gaslight themselves saying, "I'm just overthinking." But your gut isn't lying to you, it's protecting you. It's the final alarm before emotional collapse. The difference between an insecure man and an intuitive one isn't what they feel, it's how they respond. Insecurity reacts. Intuition observes. When you feel something shift, don't accuse, don't spiral. Just step back. Watch her alignment. Words can be faked. Consistency can't. If your gut feels uneasy, trust it. Not to expose her, but to steady yourself. Because awareness is power, and desperation is its opposite. The moment you stop begging for clarity and simply stand in truth, you reclaim your peace. Intuition doesn't demand evidence. It is evidence. And this is where real strength begins, not in trying to control her, but in mastering yourself. You can't stop betrayal by surveillance or suspicion. You stop it by creating an environment where disloyalty loses its appeal. Feed her emotionally. Keep your edge. Lead with calm authority, not control. Stay grounded in purpose. Communicate before distance becomes silence. When you live with intention, you don't have to guard her loyalty. She'll protect it herself. Because love doesn't survive through rules. It survives through reverence. A woman doesn't just wake up and cheat. She disconnects first, slowly, quietly, invisibly. The real betrayal begins long before the act, when her heart stops recognizing you as home. Most men wait for evidence. The wise ones sense energy. The strong ones adjust before the break. Because once she's emotionally gone, logic won't bring her back. Presence might. This was never about catching her. It's about catching yourself, before ego turns love into battle. Every shift in her behavior is an echo of what she's feeling from you. When you lose your center, she loses her trust. When you lead with presence, she rediscovers her peace. And that's what real power feels like. Quiet, steady, earned. The kind that doesn't chase. The kind that holds. If this opened your eyes, share it. Subscribe to Roots of Her for more insight into the psychology of love, loss, and connection. Stay grounded. Stay awake. Because awareness isn't fear. It's freedom.